people have no idea the amount of like hatred that I received in the midst of the most catastrophic, traumatic experience. You know, people would literally be like, oh, like, that was like, you had something to do with this. And it's like, wait, what?
And this is for men, women, parents, all that stuff. Do not be running around talking about how I'll do anything for you, I die for you, I do this for you, but you won't go sit down and talk to a therapist for them.
Yeah.
I die for my kids, but you won't go sit down and get in therapy to have a better relationship with them. You know, I do anything to be successful, but you won't get a business coach. You won't go to therapy to figure out why you can't ever finish anything. Like, we gotta start living for people and not just talking about how much we'll do anything and that.
To die.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, don't nobody really want to die no way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Not
And
want
so,
to.
right, exactly.
So basically, you summed it up beautifully.
Thank you, girl. I do talk for a living, honey.
Listen.
Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah, I might have a great day. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl Lish Speaks. This is the podcast where we don't wait for an imaginary permission slip or some seat at the imaginary table. We literally let ourselves into our God-given doors. We take chances, we ask God what we should do, and then we really try hard to obey over here at this podcast. If this is your first time here, you're gonna be encouraged, you're gonna be inspired, you're gonna feel better afterward. I'm excited because I have a guest who really is someone who I personally know really is after God's own heart. And so I love this about her. She is a mother, she's an advocate, she's a businesswoman, and she is the fiancée of the late Young Dolph. Her name, for those of you who may not know her, is Miss Mia Jaye. Thank you so much for being here, Mia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate just the opportunity and the invitation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mia, I have prayed with you.
Yeah.
I have been a part of one, at least, Bible study group that you have curated and led. And although we don't speak every day or even every month, every time I have had an interaction with you, your heart to want to be closer to God and right with God is so evident to me. I think it's a side of you that people may not know because you're not doing it for show.
Yeah.
But it is so evident in your lifestyle, in your prayer life, and how you show up for your friends, and the type of mom you are. And Holy Culture is a Christian hip-hop radio station. And so somebody might be thinking, why are you interviewing Mia Jaye? Because she's a woman of God in real life.
In real life.
In real life.
And you know what's funny about that is that I think that I definitely, like, I think that if you follow me or if you come across, I'm always going to give glory to God because he deserves it, right? But, like, I probably am not as, I would say, like, I don't probably post the many things that I actually do, right? In terms of, like, like caring for my soul and my salvation and just my relationship and, any of that. Like, because a lot of that for me, like, you know, everything that I've gone through, it's been public. Yeah. Right. It was, people have no idea the amount of like hatred that I received in the midst of, you know, like the most catastrophic, traumatic experience. You know, people would literally be like, oh, like, you know, it's like people will come up with anything, right? So people literally, it was some people and it was growing like, that was like, you had something to do with this. And it was like, wait, what? And it's like, people will kick you when you're down. And I was down and, you know, my most public demonstration of my faith. And I mean, I'm talking about, I know that this was nothing from but God. Like, I wanted to go hide away. Like, I want to shut down everything. You gave me a platform. I don't want it. Like the things that people are saying to me, like how I feel. And I ended up going to a Sarah Jakes conference or whatever. And her message was like, it's somebody in here that want to go hide away because you feel like you don't have the ability to stand tall in the face of adversity. But God is telling you, no, you need to stand. Like he's with you. Tap into his ability. And after that, I did like 30 days of praying on my not on my podcast, but on live. And that was the first time I ever publicly displayed really like my faith. And this is where I was the weakest.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still weak. This was 2022. So people saw it, but I'm talking about the first day people would come on him and just say, you deserve to die and da-da-da-da. Say the craziest things. And, you know, people would like, you know, try to take up. And I was like, listen, overlook that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not looking at that.
Yep.
I promise you, God showed me like day 1, it was a whole bunch of craziness. By day 30, listen, it was like they evaporated into thin air, you know? And I think that God just showed me like, allow me, like hear from me. I wanted you to stand tall. I wanted to get the glory and you to be able to see that through me, I can do all things, right?
Yeah.
So he showed me that, but then it was like, it got to a point where I felt like now you need to have some space to really hear me, hear my voice, be still, you know, and not that I have to try to, you know, hide my relationship or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. But I think it got to like, I need to get into more intimate spaces so I can really grow and get to know God. So if I don't, like, if people don't know about my Bible study, it's like, it's not nothing like that. It's just like, it's so intimate and it's
it
really,
was a beautiful space. It was a beautiful space.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just, I just want to, it's like me and my boo, me and God. I don't need to know how we, no, seriously.
I love to see it.
I'm serious. Yeah. So, you know, it may strike some people as odd, but it's like literally, it's deeply, it's like I will tell anybody, I'm only here by the grace of God.
I love it. I love it. In the month of May, we've been doing this series called Mothers I Admire. And so I had an episode with my mom, Dice Gamble. We have you here. And I feel like your motherhood is such a large part of your joy.
It is.
People may ask you, how are you still, you know, so joyful? How are you still so giving after everything you've been through? You not only did you lose Dolph, you lost your brother.
Yeah.
Very close in the same time frame, right? Yeah. A couple of months before, if I'm not mistaken,
a
year before, to violence, both of those. And you've spoken in other interviews about how you still got to get up and be mommy.
Yeah.
You still got to get up and encourage. You still got to get up and do. So, you know, when it comes to mothers who are going through a difficult time right now, what's something that you would say to encourage them or just help them keep going?
I definitely went through like as much as, so before even all of that happened, you know, I started like the mom CEO, because I was like, look, we got a real responsibility. Like, you know, running businesses and all of that is cool. But the way these kids turn out, you know, the
real
adults,
legacy.
Yeah, that's the real legacy. And we just, it's so much culture that's like, you know, learn how to balance, learn how to this and have your business and have 3, 4, 5 businesses and raise kids. Like, it's like, wait, first of all, ma'am, I'm not a Superman. You know, I'm not one person. I'm one person, and the responsibility of raising children in itself takes a lot. You know, so not to say you can't do anything else. Prioritize that first, and then everything else. So that was already where I was going. You know, like just kind of where I was positioned. And so when I had a hardship come. It was times where, you know, the demand of being a mommy and the demands of my children and expectations, it was a lot, you know, it was a lot. And it was I would say probably the first 6 months or 9 months or so, it was a whole lot. And but my mother was there for me, right? My mother was there for me like 2 years. So caveat, you know, for women that's going through things, some people have their mothers, have somebody that can be there, but if they don't, it's like, listen, don't look at me as being like, well, she was able to do it, so I got to put, like, I had help. That's first and foremost. Because, yes, my mother had to come to me at one point like, the kids are saying that you're not spending enough time. And, you know, she just, I really snapped on her, to be honest with you, because I was like, did you tell them what all I got going on?
I'm doing the best I can.
Girl, and I broke down crying. But I was in that space. And, you know, mommy, I'm sorry, by the way.
I'm sure she has forgiven you.
No, she knows. But I snapped because I'm just like, I can't have that expectation of me right now. You know, it was a lot. But then I was glad she told me that because it was like a gentle reminder, like, they need you.
Yeah.
Just as much as you've lost, they have too. You know,
Come on, Mom.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, from that, I was like, okay, I started at that point. I was like, well, let me start. I started doing, going to my son's school, my kid's school every Friday. I would sit next to my daughter during chapel and I would have lunch with my son just so we can build a bond.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I tell you them chapel, I would be up in there, they talking the most elementary version of the Bible, girl. And I'm crying like, Like we singing all
minister to your soul.
Ministering to my soul. So it was like as much as I felt like I was being there for them, I needed that, right? And I'm just saying that just to say, I think sometimes we always feel like our kids are pulling from us, but sometimes they're actually pouring into us or our obedience to just show up for them is like they can give us love. Like my kids just come up and just like, you know, mommy, I just love you so much and you're doing so well. And you know, that's music to your ears when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. So I would just encourage mothers that are going through things to embrace their children because it may just be the love, like, or embrace spending time with them or just different things as you can. Because sometimes, like I said, it can be overwhelming and it's like, I don't have that to give. But the moment you gotta, you can make room for it and have it to give, it'll do so much more for you. It'll warm your heart. It'll touch your heart. It'll love like such an unconditional love that you may be, you know, just not expecting. And that's what I felt. And so my kids actually helped me more than they added more burden or pressure to me. It was like, oh my God, I just see the best parts of him and you guys. And I just love you so much. Come here. So that's.
When you first had your son or found out you were even pregnant, what were some of your fears about being a mom? If you had any.
Girl, so I think it was just like, wait, what did I just do?
How old were you?
I was 24 when I was pregnant, right? And so Dolph, the thing is that, you know, all honesty, transparency. Dolph, you know, he was super, super busy, very, very tunnel driven. And
gotta be when you in that mode.
Yes. And I knew he would do extremely well because he was just a man of few words, but when he says something, girl, listen, he would stand on it. You could take that check to the bank. It ain't gonna bounce, right? So he was just like that. But I was like, you're just too busy. Like I was at that point in my life, just graduated from college. Like maybe this isn't, you want this, but I don't think it's working, you know? And so when I found out I was pregnant, it really shocked me because I was just like, them doctors told me that I was gonna have, like, I wasn't gonna be able to have no kids, right?
I didn't know that.
So and I think they told everybody around, this was HPV time. Like it was telling, I talked to 25 women that was around, like grew up around my age, that time period. And they would just say like, you know, oh, you know, I guess trying to get you to take the vaccine or something. Like they would say, you may not be able to have kids. And so they said that so much and my mom was like, she's not taking it. So I started to believe and, you know, not really understanding.
Yeah, like I can't
I was like, I don't think I can have kids. So I told myself that. So I told him that. I was like, I don't think I can have kids. And he was like 27. He was 4 years older than me. I was 20, well, however it was. He was older than me. He wanted kids really badly. And I was just like, yeah, we're not even ready for all of that. So when I found out, it was way like, wait, I'm happy I can have kids, but can we send it back? I want to put it on layaway. I was like, wait a minute.
I need more than 9 months.
Yes, please. Can I like put this on pause? So I was not happy. I was actually very sad because I didn't never think about it. Like I knew he wanted kids, but I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
I just graduated college, invested 6 years of my life trying to figure out my life, and now I'm a mama. Like, wait, what? But once I got over that hump and I realized the blessing that my son came here, I think, you know, the scariest part about it was just like, I don't know nothing about this. I mean, I would cry. Like, I remember he was probably like maybe 2 weeks old or something. He wouldn't latch on. And I was like, he gonna die. he not like, and I was so extreme with everything. I'm crying because it's that first time, mommy, I'm like,
I'm sure.
Is it something I'm doing? Because I thought everything is me. Like, he won't eat. He looking sickly. Like, you know, I was scared about everything, you know? And so I think that my just not feeling like I know what to do. Yeah. I'm the baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means anything to anybody listening. Yeah. Like when you're the baby, everybody cares for you.
For you, yeah.
I don't care for nobody like that. Like, so it was just like, it was very scary for me, like just this whole new reality. But I can say, you know, I think I had my mama there. She stayed with me like the first 3 months. My mama just always been showing up, right?
She was at the Bible discussion that I was in.
Yes.
She was right on that Zoom, like, hello.
And will show up, that mother support, you know? So I'm the question, I guess you're just saying like, what fears did I have? I think I was just fearful of everything. And the one thing I can say is like, when I look back, is like, trust God. You know, if you know, like I was praying at that time, I was, you know, praying over like just, God, where are you taking me in my career, this and that. I was asking and praying for things, and I don't think I even understood the depth of prayer and all of those things, but I was praying. And the one thing I can say is that I'm like, I'm scared with this guy because he busy, but he got a good heart. That's all I used to always say. And, you know, he just always said, I will always be there. You and my child would never have to worry about nothing. No other man ever have to take care of you or him. And I'm gonna be there, and we gonna do everything. We gonna have a family. We gonna get married. All that, and I believed him. Yeah, I just like he ain't go like I believe the things that he said, but when I look back, it's like God knew what he was doing. And he did give me that man has held his word. Like he's to this day, he's not here anymore, but he still took care of business, right? And I just be like, that's something God. He put me with somebody that he was like, look, this is about to be a gift to you. Like this is about to be a stand-up man, somebody that your children, if your son turned out to be this man today, it's gonna be something you could be proud of. Yeah. And that's true. So it's absolutely just yeah.
I love you talking about your relationship with your mom, because so many of us as women, whether it's a mom, an auntie, a grandma, a teacher that we had, there's some woman in our life that kind of taught us how to be a woman, you know? And you also have a daughter. So now you have your mom, you have your beautiful, looking just like her daddy. She look like you too, though, but she looked like her daddy. Yeah. Both of them look like both of y'all. It's interesting. But when you put her and Dolph next to each other, it's like, whoa, like that is her daddy's daughter. She's so beautiful. I love a chocolate girl, period. But you have your mom, and you have the lessons that your mom has instilled in you that I'm sure you want to instill in your daughter. What's one of those lessons? One of those things your mom told you that you're like, I gotta make sure I teach this to my daughter. I have one, which I'll share as well.
Right.
From my mom.
I feel like, so funny story is like, when I was growing up, me and my mother did not have a great relationship, right? And I was a daddy's girl. So I feel like, I'd be like, everything I feel like she told me I ain't listened to. Until like, I listened to her more now as an adult, right? But I think it was a generational curse. If I had to say anything, my mom and her mother didn't have a good relationship, right? And so when I was growing up, it was like, you just so mean. I don't like you. Like, that's how I used to feel. But I think the biggest lesson is to break generational curses. Because me and my mother, when I went off to college, we bonded our relationship, and that stronghold that was on our family, like these mother-daughter relationships are being like just weak and not there, non-existent or whatever. We built such a bond, and like, you know, so I was in psychology class. I get on the phone like, I'm taking this psychology course, and they said that some new term, and I'm like, I think that's what we experienced. So I'm like therapying us, but she was talking to me. She was open. She was apologetic. Yes. She was.
That's how I feel about my dad.
Yes, it's like when a parent can, like, just, you can have just open book conversations, and just kind of, you know, kind of like we could just kind of heal those. So I think if anything I learned from my mother, just in terms of the entire experience, is like, be willing to apologize to your child, be willing to talk to, be willing to fix. You know, like, you may do something wrong within your parenting. I'm not going to be perfect, but be willing to own up to it. Be willing to see from your child's point of view and mend whatever brokenness may be there. And I feel like my mother, she did that. Like, I mean, we had some times where we cried together over just healing those wounds from childhood. And I feel like us doing that so early, I was probably like 17, 18. It allowed for our relationship today and along the way, like, just to be stronger than ever. And now, me having a daughter, it's like second nature to me. Like, we got, like, she tell, like, I embrace her. I let her speak her mind.
Your kids are very vocal.
Very vocal.
Yes.
Yes.
And smart.
And smart. And she'll tell me, like, you're my best friend. You know, I tell you everything. And I'm like, yes, girl. And the bond it's like my mother taught me later in life, but nonetheless, how to have a real strong bond with your child. And I think that's what I'm teaching my daughter is like, look, it's me and you. Like, we here. I got your back. I will listen to you. I will respect you. I will love you. I will correct you. And, you know, we can't have no messed up relationship.
Right.
Like we will work at it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
I love that.
So.
That's good. I think for me, and my prayer is to one day be a mom of a daughter or two. But one of the things I feel like my mom does very well in my adulthood, and you know my mom, Mama Bev.
So sweet. So sweet.
She is she loves her children out loud. Like, you know how people say, like, my mom never told me she loved me. My mom never told me she was proud of me. My mother tells me all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. She texted me this morning. I was just up thinking about how much I love you. I just wanted to text you. Like, she's very affirming in that way. She will tell me how proud she is of me. She will tell me, she's the first one to watch every podcast. She gonna send it to all her friends. She gonna put it on her face. She don't play about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think for me, it's something that maybe she wishes she got from her mom.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure to give that to my daughters or sons, whoever, if God allows me to be a mom. I want to make sure I pass that down because I think it's so easy sometimes to just, they know I'm proud of them. They know I love them, and not be vocal about it.
Yeah.
So I want to be very vocal like my mom is with me. And I think it's so funny that you talked about like you and your mom having a rough relationship because I feel like me and my mom, we didn't have a rough relationship, but I wasn't like a vulnerable kid. I had some trauma happen to me that she was unaware of. And I just had a lot going on. And so I wasn't super like, Mom, this is my day and this is how I'm feeling or whatever. And I feel like she tried. And then I feel like as I got older, the roles reversed where she wasn't as vulnerable with me. Like my mom's always been loving and giving, but like she's not gonna say, this is how I'm feeling. I'm sad or I'm this or I'm that. So even right now, one of the things we're working on is, Mom, just talk to me woman to woman. Yeah. I want to know you as a woman. You know what I mean? I want to know you, how you feel about things. If you feel like I do something that's wrong or, if you want better out of it, like we can talk to each other. We can ask each other what we need or how we can be better. Exactly. And I think she's working on it. I don't think it's easy for her.
Yeah. No, for sure.
My father, funny enough, this is not about fathers. That's next month. But he's very vulnerable, which when I was a kid, he was very, I'm going to take you to play basketball, this, that, you know what I mean? He was there. He didn't live with us, but he was there for me. But it wasn't emotional. We didn't have an emotional connection. We connected over music. We connected over pop culture.
Yeah.
I think I'm the one of my siblings who he trusted the most to like make logical, unemotional decisions because that's my personality. My husband might disagree, but everybody else would say that's my personality. And so we had that relationship, but as an adult, we had like my father and I will cry to each other. Like he's probably one of the first people I call for good or bad stuff. Yeah. And so it's very interesting how those
things change,
how those tables turn. But I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from both my parents is that vulnerability is what has to happen for you to be close to your adult child.
Yeah.
Because your adult child is not your kid child.
Yeah.
And once they become an adult and don't need you for physical support, all they actually need you for is emotional support. And if you're not vulnerable and you're closed off and you can't apologize or you can't initiate an apology or initiate a tough conversation, you will have a very surface relationship. So mothers out there, I'm not a mother yet, but I am a daughter.
Yes.
And let me give you this advice. If you're struggling with your relationship with your adult daughter or your son, I would even dare to say, try vulnerability.
Yes.
Try initiating that thing you think about that you did as a parent that you're like, I wish I never did that, or I made a mistake, or every time you think about it, you try to take it out your memory because you cringe. Bring it up to them.
Put it out there.
Talk to them and say, you know what? I was thinking the other day when I was raising you guys, I was really busy, or I was really this, or I was really that. How did that make you feel? I'm sorry. You'll be surprised the level of conversation it will open up because now your adult child knows that they don't have to protect your feelings because you are you're opening up space for you guys to have a conversation about how something may or may not have made them feel. It works wonders.
It does. And I think you hit it on it. Like, so basically you summed it up beautifully.
Thank you, girl. I do talk for a living.
Listen, because I'm like, it was exactly that. That's what, like, so me as a young child having a relationship with my mother, I really didn't care to have it. It's like I got my dad. And then when my dad, decided, well, we gonna be in separate houses, that made me mad too. So it was like, bump all of y'all. It's me v the world. It's me v the world, right?
That's how I felt as a kid too. I didn't have to feel that way, but that's what I told myself.
That's what I told myself, And so I formed my relationship with my mother as a 17, 18. I thought I was grown. I thought, like, look, I went off to college.
Grown.
Yeah, I was like, listen, I'm off to college. This me v the world, some more, right? But man, it was just so beautiful. My mother just being able to be vulnerable with me. That's exactly what brought us closer together.
Yeah.
And I got to know her as the woman, like understand her. Like it was like, dang, I never thought about that you had children very young and how hard that probably could have been. Because I can't see me having no baby right now. Like,
word.
That's how it would look at it. And it made me appreciate her more.
Yeah.
It's like I seen her perspective and her lenses. And so, and it just had allowed me to trust her to where, I'm now opening up to her. I'm having these conversations with her. We formed our relationship later in life, but it was beautiful. It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'll be grateful to God. Like, I'm glad that you, listen, as knuckleheadish as I was, you know what I'm saying? That you still was leading and guiding me, even when I just probably would have thought it was all me. Like, I just called my mom and it was like, but no, it's something that you put on me because I could have been like, I don't like her. I could have had a hardened heart. Yeah. I could have really not wanted to receive her and wanted to continue that pattern. Like, I don't like her. I ain't never liked her and whatever, not been willing to, or not go to college, not to go in that class to even, it prompts me, right? But whatever it was, the journey and the path that God put me on, I just like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that opportunity.
Yeah. And I love that you called it out as a generational curse because it is a generational curse. It is a generational curse when you come from a family and your mama didn't get along with her mama and your aunties never got along and now you and your siblings don't get along and you and your mom don't get, we don't look at it like that. And it also is a generational blessing. My mom is very close to her sisters. Yeah. And seeing that is the reason my siblings and I are so close. We don't play about each other because we didn't see that. You know what I mean? Now, on my dad's side, there was some other stuff there, right? Right. And I think that, and they're working it out. God bless them. I love my aunts on that side. But but on my dad's side, there was some other stuff there. And one of the things my father always says is, I'm so grateful that you and your sister specifically have a great relationship because his mother fell out with her sisters. So guess what my aunt saw? Yeah. That's what they saw. And so those generational curses can become blessings. Yeah. And you can turn the table on your whole trajectory of your family. I appreciate, my grandmother on my mother's side was very close to her sisters. So that's what my mother saw.
So it's right? Generational blessings.
Just generational blessings. And there are things that even when me and my siblings have gone through things or disagreed, my sister too, we're like, let's fix it. Let's figure it out because you know what I mean? This is all we know. We and then you don't be wanting to disappoint your parents.
You want to know what's funny? So I met your mom and your sister before I met you.
Yes.
I promise the way they talked about you when you not in the room, sis. Listen, I was like, this lady is amazing. Just by how they talk to you. No, I'm so serious. They was like, you didn't get to meet Lish. Like your sister was talking about you. I think you her little sister, right?
I'm her little sister.
She my little big sister. It's like, I'm just saying, I was looking forward to meeting you because I was like, the way they talk about her, she sound real bomb. But that's beautiful though, just to know that even when you're not there, and I'm genuinely being honest, I'm not even just trying to throw some sauce because what she's saying, they really uplifted you. They were so proud of you and just, just the woman of God that you are. It was, I don't even remember exactly what they said, but I remember how they made me feel like, I want to meet her. She sound real dope. And they just really just lifted you up.
They hold me up. They hold me up. And my brother too. I'm very blessed. I tell people I could go to the circus. My family would be right there. All right, well, did we get our tickets? Let's at the circus. No, you know what I mean? I was 30-something-year-old female rapper. Because that's different than a 30-something-year-old male rapper, right? Yeah. And my family was not playing oh yeah, my sister rap. It wasn't oh yeah, she's trying to be a rap. Embarrassed about it, you know? No. And I think it's some of it, and you say this about Dolph too. Some people, when they say something, they gonna do it. Yeah. So the people around them respect it. My family knows whether it's music, media, I don't care if I start a laundromat business. Yeah. I'm going to be successful.
I'm gonna do it.
Period. And I think that it allows people to get behind you in a way, but there are people out there who don't have that. And I don't take it for granted that I have a mother who will tell anyone with ears about anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
And she does speak very high. Shout out to you, Ma. We love you.
Shout out to you, Auntie Belle.
Right. Shout out to you. Let me say this. You talked about how people on social media have said crazy things to you, right? As a mother in this day and age, our kids, right? I'm going to say our in Jesus' name. But our kids, our collective kids, the children of our world, they are growing up in a world that we did not have to navigate.
Yeah.
At least not until we were already 18, 19 by the time, 17 at least, by the time we got on social media.
Yeah.
So, you know, what do you allow? They're still kind of young, but what do you allow them to see or not see? Do they have are they on social media at all? Like, how do you protect them?
So I'm a real old school parent. Like, I got an old soul up in me, and I know this, but it'd be like, listen, we not doing it, right? So they're not on social media. The most I let them do, they like, well, they don't do TikTok. Because I'll be like, I took YouTube away from them.
Because YouTube, you got to watch YouTube.
It'd be too many things. And I have to be too many, like, eyes, ears. And what I recognize is that as a parent, to be honest with you, I know when I did, I ain't gonna talk about what other parents do, but what I did and what I noticed that I did is that you give them that iPad.
So you can have a moment.
So you can, have a moment, right? And it really affords you not to be as engaged as maybe you need to be, right? I also understand everybody's situations be different. So if you working and doing all of these things, it is easy and convenient, right? For me, it's like, recognize your situation. You in a situation where Dolph didn't even want me to work because he like, listen, I need you to be, I'm going enough. I'm doing enough. I'm supplying enough. I need you to be all hands on deck with these kids. And he used to say, it used to get on my nerves. I'm like, I got purpose.
Yes.
I got
a story to tell.
Yes. But I'm so glad he like almost beat that in me in a sense, because it's like he was so right. Somebody got to be real active. And to be honest with you, I never saw that. As a Black woman, I don't know Black homemakers. I don't know. All I know is, career woman. In my mind, growing up, I wanted to be a successful career woman. Like what I saw on TV.
And you are, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in the, girl, I want to be on the 35th floor.
You want to be Robin Givens and Boomerang. Me too.
Or Taraji P. Henson or any, all of them women that's like these.
The boss.
I wanted to be
Gina and Pam.
Listen, yes, I wanted to be that. So I never even saw a glamorized version or anything that even seemed appealing to me as like a homemaker motherhood.
Yes, same.
But like the 50s, 60s, and I didn't want to be having no like, big mama vibe. Like, no, that was not what I saw. But I'm glad that he pushed that. Like he helped me to see the blessing and like this is not everybody's not able to, right?
Yes.
That's a blessing.
Yes.
And so you can go every Friday to go and have lunch with your kids and sit at like that's a blessing, right? So I think that I recognize that I needed to just fill up their schedules, fill up our schedules, do more things. And I take those iPads, I'll be like, y'all can go outside, y'all can play different things. And so they're really not like, they like to get on there to probably like, Arya like to do some fashion stuff. YouTube, I done took it away from them because I was like, it's too much stuff. It was something Trey ended up saying that really, when they do stuff, it gives me.
It was like, where you get that from?
Yeah. And he said it was something so inappropriate that he didn't even know it was inappropriate, right? And we ain't about to say it on here because it's no. Yeah. Right? But it was something he said, he made a noise. And I was like, I didn't even know what it was. To be honest, I thought the video was funny, like him and his friends, and I sent it to one of my friends. She was like, do you know what he just said? And I was like, no. And she was like, she sent me the video, what it was tied to and what. And I was like, see, I'm glad because now I got proof of why I'm taking this away from you. So I showed him, I was like, this is so inappropriate. This is why I don't like you to be on YouTube. Y'all you don't know what you're doing, what you're saying. Yes, it's too much stuff. I can't filter it all. Yeah. So we're not doing that. And so, Arya be like, well, mama said, like, no, if you do what I'm telling on you, I'm like, that's my girl. Arya. Listen, that's my girl, because we besties. And I gas her up. I'm like, come on, bestie, let me know. But I explain it to them. And then I put it like, now the Dolph is not here anymore. I'm like, and you know, daddy, remember when daddy told you couldn't watch this no more? He said it for a reason. When I put that on there, it's like, it sealed the deal. Like, you know what? She's right. Yeah. And so I have to use that, you know, in my defense in terms of like trying to solidify what we are doing and what we're not doing. And they do abide. They listen. They don't buck me. They're not there yet. Thank Lord. Hope we don't never have to get there. But they actually listen. So I just, like I said, to answer that in a more succinct way, it's just being more present with them, putting them in things that of their interest, keeping them busy. Yep. And like I said, it's like I'm like, no social media right now. They don't even have a phone. I bought my son a watch. I was like, I'll get you an Apple Watch.
Something chill.
Listen, get you an Apple Watch. I can call you on. It got cellular on there. All you need, I just need to be in contact with you. I don't need you to have so much accessibility to your fingertips. Yeah. I just can't do it. Like, you know, and so they have iPads or whatever, but they don't, I feel like my kids, me going super old school, going against the grain of what society is doing. Yeah, it's like you gotta go against the grain. Just because everybody's doing it, it's so normal, it's so everywhere. It's like at some point we gotta push back and be like, listen, I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna do this other way. I'm gonna go real old school. And then it will cause you to be like, so how are you gonna be weaved into this and present in this?
Yeah. You know? And I think the amazing thing about that too is parents, because, you know, I work with the youth. And so one of the things I've realized is that parents have lost control too early. Yeah. I think there is a time that your children are supposed to come of age. You're supposed to start figuring out what they believe about things and what they actually think and start to grow their own voice. But that used to be a teenager. Yeah. It's now an 8-year-old. Yes. Because they done Googled this and YouTube that. And it's like, you still need to be the main, at that age, you're supposed to still be the main influence over your child. Yeah. Where so much so that if someone tell them something at school, they got to come back to you and say, someone said this, is that true?
Is that true?
You know what I mean? Or at least to an auntie or uncle, somebody. And these kids are not doing that no more because they just going to Google. Yeah. And now they're going to ChatGPT. Yeah. And so it's important to have some boundaries and standards. And I'm sure you will adjust them as your children grow older and it's appropriate. But I think you're doing the right thing because the thing you said that I want parents to hear, if you didn't hear nothing else she said, you can't filter it all. You can't. You think you putting these parental this and da-da-da-da. You can't filter it all. Listen, and they know the technology better than we do.
Listen, Trey, I was like, wait, I put a lock on you. How did you do it? And he was like, like he did something. I'm like, I don't even know how you're getting around this, but listen. And I would just tell him, and especially when their father passed, right? I told him, I was like, listen, it's going to be tempting. You're going to want to go and try to find out stuff. And it's a lot of people out there that's going to try to convince you that they know exactly what happened. I see it all the time. It's some hurtful people out there. It's some evil people out there. And it's some people that will mislead you. And listen, I promise you, I give you my word. The minute I know what happened, I will let you know. You don't have to search and fish and listen, I ain't about to have you out like that. But do not go searching for this. Yeah. Because it's too much information and I don't want you to break your heart because it broke my heart. I don't want you to experience the heartbreak that you already get heartbroken enough. And I talk to my children. I'm talking how I'm saying this to you. That's probably verbatim what I said to them. And I said, just give me your word. If you feel like at any point that this is too much for you and you just so tempted, you're scratching and you're like, I gotta know. Like, I was like, please come to me because we'll do it together. We'll do it together. I think you'll need some support because it's really like, it's a lot, right? So, and they was like, I promise I won't do it. Now kids will be kids. I don't know. I'm not saying that I think they're perfect little angels and they didn't do it. I don't know. But I put that out there. You know what I'm saying? And the way that I'm going back to something that you just said, I think the biggest thing is just the relationship. The relationship with your kids is like boundaries are cool, but relationship supersedes all, right? So when they will respect the boundaries, provided that the relationship, that you're intentional about having a good, healthy relationship. You respect your kid. It ain't just that, do what I say, not as I do. And talking crazy to them and disrespecting them and putting them down. Like, you can't do that. Like, I came up around that a lot. Like, you know, just, and not necessarily my mother did that to me, but just
generationally.
Yeah, people talk bad to their kids. Yeah, talk bad, call their kids out their name, just talk to them like they
nothing.
Yeah, off the street. So I don't believe in none of that, right?
Me neither. I praise God I wasn't raised like that.
Yeah. And like I said, I witnessed it. I witnessed people closer to me. I'm like, dang, your mama talk to you like that. That would hurt my feelings. Yeah. And I always wonder, like, how does that make them feel?
Am I soft?
Yeah, no. And they were like, oh, I don't care. And I'm like, you got to. That hurt me. It ain't me. Like, but I'm saying all that to say it's the relationship. And I'm really big on I tell my kids, like, listen, now that daddy's gone, we all we got. It's our unit, you know, and not, we got our own other family. But this household, this is our household bubble. You got to look out for your sister. I got to look out for you. We got to look out for each other. The relationship is so important. Like the love we have, like, and then I will also bring their daddy back into it because this, you know how daddy was about family. So it's like when I put them stamps on there, and then on top of that, my kids, they all have they both have their personal relationship with God, and they went to a Christian school, and I'm like, yeah, and this is what God expects of us. Girl, I put that, look, still signed and living like, girl, that's how I do it. That's how I now have to parent, where it's like I felt for so long so inadequate to do it all by myself. But between they earthly father and reminding them of him and they heavenly father, listen.
You better preach. Listen, I love that. That's really good. You said in an interview, going back to what you just talked about people being on the internet saying, thinking they know. You talked about how you stopped. You had to like block out all of that, and you just need to trust God with the outcome. And you talked about trusting God so deeply because like that you said, that's all I have. I have to trust God. I'm not going to let myself go crazy. I think verbatim is what you said, you know, listen to everybody's theory or what they think. I have to trust God that justice, I think the question you were asked specifically was, do you ever think justice won't be served? And you said, no, I believe justice will be served because I trust God. How do you get to that level of trust where you're letting God be your co-parent along, you know, where you are not going on the internet looking at every little thing people said, trying to be your own detective, putting pieces together, where you're really able to still have joy, smile, give to other causes, which we will get to as well. That level of trust in God, where did that come from for you?
I think it literally comes out of exhaustion and it's like when, like I never understood this until about now. Like when you've done all you can do, you just stand.
Yeah, after you've done all you can. Shout out to Donnie McClurkin.
Right. I'm like, what else is there left to do? I mean, I know I'm gonna go crazy doing this because I'm on the verge tinkering around with, you know, allowing a lot of stuff coming in that's having me, noise. I'm kind of feeding into it, and then like I'm sticking my baby toe in it. But it's like, I need to get that thing out of there because I don't let my foot get swallowed up and, you know, I get a stronghold on that thing to just suck me down. So out of fear of losing my mind, it's like, well, fear doesn't come from God. Okay, so how do you not have the fear? Well, you need to get away from that sticking your baby toe in. Well, what do you do now? It's like, you better trust that God gonna come through. And then my therapist, this was like when Adolph was still here, she introduced to me like cornerstone moments. Like it's a faith-based therapy session. And she was like, you know, I want you, this was before he passed and everything. She had me to write down. She was like, I want you to think of as many cornerstone moments in your life where God showed up and something you prayed for, you asked for, he showed up. Go as far back. She had me to do an exercise like when you were in your like young years, when you were young, all the way up until like where you are now. And I did that. And this was probably, I would say within the 3 months prior to him passing. And I feel like even that was done on purpose because I done did this before, like where my mind is clear and I can think about it. I'm not all pressured. And so when I go back, I write a lot, journal a lot. And going back to be able to see all of these cornerstones historically over my life where God showed up, where it's like he didn't leave me destitute, where it's like things I prayed for, where it's like, man, this was put on my spirit and I followed it. And this, like just all of the things I was able to see. And I just, those conglomerate of cornerstone moments reminded me like you can't lose faith now. Yeah. You know, and you don't got nothing else to do. So I was just reminded heavily like, listen, God got you. He always has. Yes. And like I said, it was that exercise and just like I said, even when I would I'm desperate. Yeah. I'm desperate actually. And I'm so desperate. listen, I don't know nobody else that can help me in this moment. You know what I'm saying? And so when I started to look at it from that standpoint and continue to pray, continue to trust, I mean, the things that I was writing down, my prayers and the things I was asking for, I started to see those were added to that list of cornerstones. I could continue to see. So then it just constantly strengthened my belief and my faith.
This
like
is working.
He's still listening to me. You know what I'm saying? I asked him, can I smile? I'm smiling, you know, like, or I asked him, you know, because I was just like, I'm tired of being so sad. Like, I be about to cry all the time. I just want a little joy, you know? And it was like, I started to feel moments of joy and just different things. It was just so many things along that journey where it was like, I just know it's like, he's answering my prayers. So I'm saying all of that to say it wasn't easy to have the faith, but from a desperate standpoint and just not knowing anything else to do and being reminded of where he has brought me from, literally looking at it on paper, it was just like, let me this is where I'm gonna rest at, you know?
Yeah.
So
I love that. Are you still in therapy now?
I am. I only go once a month now.
Okay. That's okay.
Yep, I go once a month
Growth.
now.
Growth.
Yes.
I heard you talk about how you and Dolph were in therapy together. And I remember specifically on Amanda Seales interview where she was so shocked, like, really? I love that you talk about this because so many Black men look up to him still. And they need to hear that real men, you know what I'm saying? I would say real something else, but we on a Christian radio station.
For sure.
Go to therapy, right? And so for that man, that Black man who deserves to live, we about to get to that. Who is like, I don't know about the therapy thing. Like, what would you say to encourage them to push past their fear? Because it's usually really fear, whether they want to admit that or not, and go to therapy.
I mean, I just think that it's like, be honest with yourself. What do you want, right? Like, do you want to be better? Do you want your relationship? Like, Dolph went because he would say, "What? I mean, if you think that's gonna make the relationship work, fine." You know, like, because I don't understand why he would push back. Like, I don't understand why you feel like you gonna listen to somebody. Everything they gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you. It's like, but it's gonna come from somebody else, and they're unbiased. And if we're gonna make this work, our family work, this is what it is. So the thing is that he ultimately did it because he wanted his family to work. You know? And so if a Black man, is like, he wanted his family to be better. He wanted his relationship, the quality of his household to be better. So if you want better, do something different. You know what I'm saying? That you haven't tried out. Don't be so pushing back on things that you've never tried. And he ultimately ended up, he liked it every more than you. Listen, because we would have 2-hour sessions. The first hour he would get out whatever it was, his issues with me, it's like, almost like you got a referee, you in a ring, like a boxing ring. And the ref like, okay, your turn to get, like if you just could pounce on somebody. And he wasn't pouncing on me, but just having his freedom to be able to get it out. And the therapist say, okay, so what I heard you say was, and the person, and people, we love when somebody listens to us.
Yes, we love to feel heard.
We love to feel hurt. And that therapist listening to you way better than me because I'm sitting here like I'm looking to want to say 52,000 things back. But she's like, we're listening. And I'm like, actively, right? And so that's all. Like you can just express all, like just do all your word punches. And is not taking offense. And somebody listens to you back and tell you and then help the other person. She'll say something like, what I heard was, and I'm like, that's what you heard? Because I heard attack after attack after attack. And it helped me to better hear. So now we're just better. So my thing is Black man, if you want to be better, if you're tired of your situation, listen, like that.
Come on, you sound like a commercial.
I promise, if you're tired of your situation, if you're tired of being sick and tired, it's like, try something new. Try something that you haven't tried. You know, like don't be the definition of insanity. Like, right? Like, don't keep doing the same thing.
Expecting different results.
Exactly. So it's like, try it. And I'm grateful. I just be so grateful when I hear so many people talk about how they man won't do it, or men talk about like rebuttal it. I be like, dang God, thank you for giving me a man that was so open. And that showed me his heart for me and his love for me, that like, I'm willing to do this for us to work. That's so powerful in itself. Like, you really love me, don't you?
Listen, and let me say this about therapy. And this is for men, women, parents, all that stuff. Do not be running around talking about how I'll do anything for you, I die for you, I do this for you, but you won't go sit down and talk to a therapist for them.
Yeah.
I die for my kids, but you won't go sit down and get in therapy to have a better relationship with them. You know, I do anything to be successful, but you won't get a business coach. You won't go to therapy to figure out why you can't ever finish anything. Like, we got to start living for people and not just talking about how much we'll do anything and
to die.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
don't nobody really want to die no way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Not
and
want
so,
to.
right, exactly. You know, and so go sit down in that chair. Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Give it a try. I'm such a proponent of therapy. I have friends who are therapists. I believe that even the healthiest of us need to go talk to somebody, because the beautiful thing about therapy, and this is what I love about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not currently in therapy. I need to get back into it. But the times I have done it, it is a time for you to talk about your feelings with no concern about the other person.
Exactly.
See, when you call a friend and you dump, what are you in with? Yeah, girl, but that's what's going on with me. But what's going on with you? Because you don't want to feel selfish.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you call them to just talk about them. Sometimes you won't even tell them the whole story because you don't want to dump on them, or you won't even call them at all because you're like, she got a lot going on.
Yeah.
When I was in therapy, I was like, oh, good, this is my time
To let you have
let it all out. Tell you everything. So I don't have to ask you how you're doing. I don't have to care how you feel. I don't have to care if you have a lot going on, because I'm paying you.
And it's confidential.
And it's confidential.
Girl, and it's confidential.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
I love it.
The one thing I will say, a caveat, right? I believe that do your due diligence selecting a therapist,
Yes.
right? Because
It's
a
like
therapist
dating.
is not a one size fit
No.
all. I would literally say, write down what are some of the things that you're feeling, like, right? What are some of your issues? What are some of your goals? I want to feel better. You know what I'm saying? I really want to get out of my head from my childhood. I really want to, whatever it is, write down those goals. You know, and then try to figure out, like, is it, like, what is important to you for your therapist to have? Should they be faith-based or not, right? Be male or female? Should they be older or young?
Should they be the same, race as you? Or
Yeah,
not?
like,
these are
and for
important
me,
things.
it's always gonna be, I want somebody that's black. I want
Every time.
somebody that's older because I want wisdom. I want somebody that's faith-based because I want godly wisdom. I want somebody who's a woman. Sometimes, like, depending on what I'm going for, I do woman or male. But for me, if it's me trying to work on me, I want a woman. And I want to then interview her.
Yes.
Like, you're paying this person. This is not like, you're paying them. So I want to just ask you some questions to see if we align, right? And just go through what is important to you, your lifestyle, you know, just things that they should be able to, like, are they married? For me, I want somebody who's also married, right? Because again, like,
That's
that
what
wisdom.
you're going for. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, especially like then, like, it's like, I want somebody who is, you've been married 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, because guess what? My little baby problems that I'm coming to you with it may sound like that or whatever. It's like, child, listen.
You're going to be all right.
Exactly. I need to hear that reinforcement, you know, in that they don't tell you what to do or whatever, but they can calm, like, the right therapist can bring calm and peace to your spirit.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
So I would totally say do due diligence.
Yes, do your due diligence. And if you go to one session and it don't work, you don't have to go back.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not married to them. You're dating. But when you find that therapist, I'm telling you, it'll be great.
Yes.
I want to talk about two things in one.
Okay.
Number one, we talked about you being the mom of a daughter. I want to talk a little bit about you being the mom of a son. But with that, you have a movement called Black Men Deserve to Grow Old, right? And in this movement, you described this so beautifully. You said, I want this to be a movement where Black men signal to one another that I'm safe. If you see a Black man, another Black man in our merch, you will know he wants you to make it home just like he wants to make it home. Yeah. He believes you deserve to continue being a father and a man of the community just like you believe he deserves it. And so you guys will know you're not a threat to one another. Yeah. I thought that was so profound and so powerful. I feel like with the rise of more Christian rap, with the rise of people talking about how, you know, we got to treat each other as Black people. I feel like we're getting to a better place. Yeah. And I know we don't have the answer, right? Yeah. But in terms of you having a brand like this, a movement like this, what's your hope? What's your greatest hope for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think my greatest hope, to be honest with you, I think in terms of defining that and things change. And like, I'm really like, God, help me to see what it, like, you gave me this. Cause you got to think, this was not something, this wasn't something like how this is all evolved. It's kind of something that was put on me. Like Mommy O was something that like, okay, my hope for this is like, women, let's show up and like prioritize motherhood, like being a mother and like, I could probably answer that and ain't touched it in a minute. It's been on ice, but it still remains the same. With BMDTGO, it's like, I really be like, God, like, it's such a heavy brand. It's such a heavy call. It's like literally every time I hear that somebody was killed at the hands of another, or child lost their father due to violence, it's like it opens up a wound. It kind of like
off again.
Yeah, it kind of is like it's ripping it off, and it's just like I'm so exhausted with that, right? However, I have been in this place where like, God, what do you have for me to do with this? Because I promise I done been to a place of just being exhausted with the heaviness of it all, right? And so what he's been saying to me is like, give this an opportunity, like to allow just your children, my brother's children, my nephew, he was like, he wanted to, it's like, TT, me, I want to start a brand called Time Heals. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, this girl I was talking to, she was like, you know, oh, I don't ever hear you talk about your dad. And he was like, yeah, he passed. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He was like, don't worry about it. You know, I'm good now because time heals. And he was like, when I said it to her, I was just like, man, I want young people to know. He's 17, about to graduate from high school. He's like, I want young people my age to know that things happen, but time heals. But I saw that, and then he ended up quoting a Bible verse. And I felt like what it spoke to me is like, I was like, you know what? I want you to be able to introduce that your brand like as doing like a collaboration with BMDTGO, and I want you as a young man to your peers to just be able to spread a message. So like reminding them that time heals. Black men deserve to grow old. All of it together, and continue to let these fresh voices be able to advocate on behalf of themselves. And like it's an advocacy brand, like because we're advocating for Black men to grow old. But I'm like, I really want to see like invite different people in to be able to tell their story and through this brand and continue to further the messaging. And just how does it speak, like, you know, after experiencing loss or trauma or different things, how and that's really where I'm going with this. Like, I don't have the answers. Like, I think overall, I would like for this brand to serve as different people telling their story as to why Black men deserve to grow old. How are they impacted by that? This further remind, like, where people are like impacted by, man, I heard this young man tell his story how he lost his dad when he was 10. Now it makes me feel even more like I have a due diligence to other Black men. Like, it's something that's gonna have to have this emotional trigger to people to feel like, care for one another. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bible says, like, the two greatest commands is to fear God and love your neighbor as yourself. And I think that just bringing that back into, like, if we just, that be the precept that everything is built on. Like, if you just love your neighbor as yourself, you don't want to kill yourself.
Right. You don't want to hurt yourself.
You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to bring harm to yourself or your family. You don't want it. Don't do it to the next person. And I think weaving that message into the brand and allowing it to be, you know, promoted and put out there, and however way God like can take me on that journey, because I don't have all the answers. I'm telling you, every time I have to turn to the brand, it reminds me of the why I started it and the heaviness of it. It's not easy.
I'm sure.
I promise you, it's not. Like, I be having to put that thing on ice because it'd be like, I can't believe it's just so much. Like, when I turn to it and see what it has become out of what has been taken away from me, it'd be like bittersweet. You know, but I do have this real I'm very optimistic that God will continue to show me how to take this message, this brand, how to take what he has given me. Cause I'll be like, this came straight from you. I did not ask for this. Let's be clear. Okay. Like, don't get it twisted, you know? To anybody just looking like, it's hard, but I'm obedient and I will do what you have me to do. Just show me what you want me to do. And how can I be an impact to our community? How can I serve as a reminder? And I think that under the precept that just guides it all is just like, reminding people, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
I love that.
For real.
That's good. And Black men deserve to grow old is about even more than violence. You know, Black men die from cancer.
Yes.
Far earlier than they should because of late detection or not
Heart
going to the
disease.
doctor, heart disease. Black men deserve to grow old. I envision so much happening with it. I'm a dreamer too like that. But there's so much that I feel like it can serve as a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
To remind Black men that we want them here.
Yes.
We want you here. We want you in our homes.
We do.
We want you in our churches. We want you to lead our families. I don't care what the world is telling you that, because, if you let the internet tell it, Black men hate Black women and Black women hate Black men.
And that's the lie.
But that is a lie.
Listen,
it's such a lie.
Such a lie.
And so it's important. And you called it a heavy call. And I want to commend you for knowing that it's a call. It's a brand, but it's a call. And you know that.
Yeah.
And I'm praying that God will send you the right people to hold your arms up as you carry it.
Yes.
Because it's something that you started before Dolph passed.
Yes.
And without any knowledge that it would mean what it means to you in your home.
Yeah.
And so there's a level of fatigue that comes with being at the center of a cause.
And there's a level of, I had, not now, but I felt guilty. I felt like, did I bring this on myself? It's like that, what is Murphy's Law of Attraction, right? Now, listen.
You rebuked that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I rebuked that for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a time period when I was going through it all, I was like, because I couldn't believe it. I was like, the very thing I was talking about just happened to me. Wait, should I just have, I felt like I should have just shut up. I really had a period where I was like, I can't believe, I could not believe it. It was just like, is this Freaky Friday?
Yeah.
How did this happen? So it was a period of time that I did go through that. But that's what also let me know this is a call. You were called to do this.
Yeah.
This is called, and now the enemy is wanting you to doubt what God has done.
Yeah.
Like he was doing a great work and you couldn't see it, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
And now you want to doubt it, and you kind of want to, I felt like I almost didn't even want to talk about it no more. I wanted to shut it down. Not another Black man on my watch, because what did I just do?
Of course, yeah.
But that's been rebuked. That's something that was just what, I guess, the levels of grief and everything that you go through. But
of course. And sometimes God may be showing you that you need someone else to do the hands-on day-to-day.
Yeah.
Because again, you need a team. I'm praying that God will send you your helpers.
I appreciate
when
that.
it comes to that, because it is heavy, but it's important, and it cannot. You still got 2 babies to raise, so it can't be all on you.
Yeah.
To carry that. And speaking of those beautiful babies, we talked a little bit about your son. And it seems like he has some Black men who have been graced to grow old around him. You talked about his karate instructor.
Yes.
When he was kind of feeling himself a little bit,
Yes,
his
shout out
karate
to
instructor
Coach
had
Cam.
Coach Kim had to get him together.
Yes.
We've seen him with Deion Sanders and, with that whole camp, and having him have his eyes on just the greatness that all that is right now. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Sander family.
Listen, shout out to them. He got his, our family, the men, Dolph's cousins and brothers, and he has some great men that are around him, that's molding him, that's reinforcing the principles that their dad, whatever, if they knew their dad, it's like those things, they're reinforcing that. And I'm super, super grateful. I'm super, super grateful. The Sanders family, Shador asked me when we got connected, he was like, what do you need? You need anything? I was like, I don't need anything, but just consistently showing up for Trey. If you're going to have a relationship with him, just consistently just show up. It don't have to be a frequent thing, just consistent. Man, he was like, say no more. And just the level of holding his word, holding true to his word. Trey, he done been to lunch with Trey.
Yeah.
He done
Trey be outside. Trey was like,
listen,
where the draft at? I'm in the building.
Listen, I'm talking but I'm talking about he went to his school lunch. He pulled up to him and had school lunch with him and his friends, and just doing different things to build that relationship to where Trey go to school my best friend in college. Then just evolve from best friends to this is my brother. And they have a beautiful relationship. Is one that I'm so grateful that you probably know this Bible verse. It's something about the deeds of your father, when your parent does something really good, good deeds, and the child reaps the benefit. It reminds me of that, because Dolph ended up like kind of being mentor form to Shador. And it's like the gift that keeps giving. Like it's this full circle moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, now he's that to my son. And I just be so appreciative. I'm like, I'm so glad of these relationships and that how he showed up and these meaningful relationships that he had, how my kids are able to benefit.
Yeah.
Shador, Deion Sanders, Shiloh, like all that whole camp, the Sanders family, they have demonstrated that, you know, like I didn't have a relationship with them personally prior to that. Dolph did though. But because of their respect and their love for him, and out of the relationship, whatever was formed out of, you know, whatever, like they done just showed up quietly. It ain't about just the pomp and circumstance. You get what I'm saying? It's like literally like they be pulling up and making sure Trey good. And I appreciate that, you know?
But the beautiful thing about what we see in that relationship is that we see Deion having had a certain level of influence over the integrity of his son and his son's word. And now because of that, your son is having that influence. And more importantly than even that relationship, maybe not more importantly, but in addition to, he got his cousins, he got his uncles, you know, he got his father's closest friends, which are going to help him to have integrity. And he got his mama, period, because let's not sleep on the mama, the first teacher, where he's going to be able to have a different life. And, you know, I remember someone online, which is why it's important that you don't have them on the internet, said something very silly about your son reacting or something to Dolph's situation. And you made it to the shade room on that one. You was like, no, we not speaking that over him. My son will not be violent. My son will not be retaliated. My son will grow up in a beautiful, safe space, emotionally and otherwise. And I don't think you even understand how you as a mom are setting your son and your daughter up to be some of the most strong and faithful people because you're not wallowing in what you've been through. You're not even telling them, you know, this is how you got to be because the world did this and the world did that to your dad and don't let nobody do. You are remaining in your softness. You are remaining in a posture of trust in God. And there is nothing like a mom who teaches you to lean on the Lord. I have one, and it is the greatest gift. I don't care what she did wrong. She got that one right, and it is the greatest gift. And so I want to say to you, as you're sitting on my couch as a mom who I admire, I collect things from all the moms I know. You know, for a long time, I didn't want kids. And when I met this man over here, and I was
she
like,
boo-boo, I want a little junior.
I think I might want a little big head baby. I started collecting things from the people I know who are moms. And one of the things that I've collected from watching you is to remain soft no matter how hard life gets. Dolph said something that you quoted, that if you're not in control, you're out of control. And I think you've elevated that for your kids by showing them, if you don't allow God to be in control, you'll be out of control. And it is a beautiful thing to watch.
For sure.
So I truly pray over you, over your life. I pray for you all the time.
Oh, thank you, Lish.
You know, we be in each other DMs every now and then. You know, I try to leave you alone because I be feeling like she got a lot going on.
And don't do that. Don't be quenching the spirit on me. Like, I don't got that much going on.
But whenever something comes out, you know, I hit you or I respond to it because I just believe that there's something very special over your life. And God did not put you in the position that he put you in for no reason. He did not put you in a position where you felt the need to pray for 30 days on your live and we didn't even get to your beautiful voice, but come to, you know, shout out to the Clean Campaign, but come to a conference and do worship. That's the first time I met you and heard you sing. And I was like, there's something on this woman. And even then you were super vulnerable. We prayed, we cried.
Yes.
There is something very beautiful about your spirit. Everybody says it. Every interview I watch with you, everybody goes, you just your spirit. You just gotta. And I believe that's because you didn't let how hard life got turn you hard.
Yeah.
You know, the same water that softens the potato hardens the egg.
Yeah.
And you just decided to be a potato.
A little soft, mushy potato.
A little potato. You feel me?
Yes.
But no, I adore you. I think you're amazing.
Oh, same.
Anything I could ever do. Not that you need anything from me, because Dolph definitely set you up.
Listen.
Come on, black man.
Come on,
Get it
black
together.
man.
Put some of the chains and the sneakers down and buy you some property.
Man,
Which he
listen.
did do. And that just warms my heart. Even when I hear you talk about that in interviews, how like, we're good. You know what I mean? But God is gonna always make sure you're good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that. You will never lack.
Yeah, I believe that.
You will never lack.
I believe
because of your heavenly Father.
Because of my heavenly.
You know?
I believe that for that reason.
And I just want you to know that when I watch you, I see strength, I see resilience, I see all those beautiful things that people are like, you're so strong, you're so this, you're so that. But I also see a surrendered heart. And that's what God is going to continue to honor in your life.
Wow. And I thank you for just saying all of that, because to be honest, that's all of those things you said, I set my intention on. Like, I surrender to you. Girl, I remember, speaking of singing, I was in my shower and I sung, I surrender all. And I cried it. I'm talking about snotty cry too. Like
Viola Davis cry.
Yes. I mean, like, I never understood the lyrics. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior. Like, I surrender all. I was so sincere. And that was around the time where it was just like, I don't have nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? With nothing else to do, you stand. I literally just was like, God, I just surrender. I don't want to I don't know what to do, you know? And so for you to recognize certain attributes and things that I have literally set an intention on, I'm just grateful that, you know, my light is showing up, that it's in alignment with what I have set my intention on.
Yep.
You know, and it is not like I'm sitting here thinking I'm showing up one way and you're like, girl, it's looking real cloudy over there. You know, like, or just anything different than what you said, you know, and I just receive it and humbly, you know what I'm saying? Very humbly. And I'm just grateful that, I don't know, that God gave me the wisdom, the insight, I could have did anything. I could have been an egg, a boiled egg. And I'm just grateful that I'm not.
Yeah.
That's just, it's just, I'm so grateful that I'm not.
I love that.
You know, so.
We ask a question to end our show here, and that is, in the grand scheme of things, what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, I want my legacy to be someone that when people think of adversity, I say that, I told my therapist, I was like, I see myself as a healing aid. I'm not a healer. I don't have no healing powers. I ain't no shrink. I'm not none of that, but I aid people in just healing wounds, and and like directing them to the ultimate, the true healer, right? But literally, I would like for my life and my wisdom and my experiences to serve as just kind of like an example, right? Like something that you can take from, like, listen, I know it's gonna be hard. I know that, you know, whatever, you might be going through a lot, but it will get better. And allow my life to be proof that God is real. God does answer prayers, that, you know, just keep on going. Like, you know, just helping, like giving little nuggets as much as I can. Because one thing I recognize is that I can connect with words and feelings and things like that. Like some things that you want to put a blanket over and can't really express it, I can get very expressive. And if I gotta, listen, let me put it like this, and then I put it that way. And like, you didn't get it. Let's try it this way. You know, I really want to aid people to heal. Understanding. Like even with Fresh Start Kids, my nonprofit, it's like, let's try healing in this way, different modalities of healing. I'm a person that's just like, listen, I would like for my life to serve, and to the people closest to me, my children. Like, I want you to be able to see how to navigate loss and pain and grief and like hardship and everything, and the spirit and the way that you persevere and did it. Like, I want you to be able to see that so you can learn take a little bit of nuggets, you know, on your way along your healing journey, so you can become more whole. Cause that's what I'm striving for. And so I genuinely feel like, as the advice that I give my friends or people that come close to me, or like I said, the things that I carry out in my philanthropic endeavors and business, it's like, I literally just want to be an aid to the healing process. And really direct people. Like when people think of Mia, they say, man, like, you know, her story helped me, or it was she left a nugget, you know, she's had a podcast, or I went to a healing session where we did some, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like whatever I would be doing, art therapy or whatever it is, just, it's like you found yourself getting closer to being a healed and whole individual by your interaction with me. And that just lets me know that like that God is really using me and using me as a vessel in his kingdom, and I'm fulfilling purpose. So.
Yeah. You are well on your way to living and creating that legacy. And I really just am excited for your future. I won't say too much on camera, but I'll say this. The Lord has a way of giving people double for their trouble. He has a way of restoring. And although things may never be the same, he has a way of showing us a different goodness.
Yeah.
That somehow makes the pain of the past just a little easier to deal with. And I pray that over your life. I believe it's coming for you. I really
receive that. Thank you.
Mia Jaye, this has been an episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with Lish Speaks.
Yes.
I hope you felt good on the couch. I hope you felt comfortable.
Comfy. The big comfy couch.
Yes, and I thank you so much for being here. Guys, this has been another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl Lish Speaks. If you caught us on Holy Culture Radio on Sirius XM channel 148 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday nights, thank you for listening there. If you caught us on Holy Culture's YouTube, thanks for listening there and watching there. If you caught us on my YouTube at Lish Speaks, first of all, make sure you subscribe, okay?
That part.
And then share it with somebody. But we thank you for catching us there. Here at I'll Just Let Myself In with Lish Speaks, we let ourselves in. We don't wait for an imaginary permission slip. We don't wait for the best circumstance or some magical thing to happen. We let ourselves in to what God is bringing us in. And in this episode, I hope you learn to let yourself into healing because it is your door to walk through. Mia, do you want them to find you anyway, or don't find you? Because some people be like, don't find me.
That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me. I'm a little quiet right now. I'm a little quiet, but you can find me at I am Mia Jaye on Instagram. Black Men Deserve to Grow Old, all spelled out on Instagram. And Fresh Start Kids is really where I've been pouring my energy. We didn't talk about it that much, which is fine.
Okay, you sure?
I promise.
We can talk. We can edit it in.
No. It's cool. It's cool. But I mean, that's where I really am right now, like facilitating healing with children that have experienced trauma. So Fresh Start Kids with a Z.
We'll link it all.
Yeah, Fresh Start Kids with a Z. Yep. That's where I'm really like feeling real. Feeling like I'm really doing a good work in the lives of these kids and just facilitating healing. So that's like my little baby right now. So.
I love that. And we'll make sure that we link all those things below so that you guys can lock in. This has been another episode, and I want to see you guys back same time, same place next week. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.